Welcome back, ladies and gents. Just spilled half a bottle of water on myself because I'm a dribbler, but we are ready to go live for TSM versus NRG on Nuke ×2. It's going to be quite the triggering, but I'm hoping for some decent CS on Nuke.
Of course.
Yeah, it's not my favorite map, I'm not going to lie, but hopefully these teams can bring something interesting to the table.
Yes, we saw SEMPHIS have a very outstanding performance yesterday versus, I can't remember who it was, but on TSM.
Complexity.
Versus Complexity, yep. Yes, that was a dragger. Yeah, there was a lot of bad rounds, I think, to look back on. I'm sure the teams would agree, but maybe that bit of practice, if you will be good for TSM to kind of clean it up. And I think that they had more going for them in terms of tactics and stuff like that than Complexity had. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing if they made some progress and if they are changing some stuff up, and maybe if they aren't going to play as loose, because Nuke is a little bit hard to play on a default and expect to work a pick. I mean, unless the CTs are going to push every single round, which I don't think they will.
I completely agree with you. And of course, Nuke yesterday went to 2 overtimes between TSM and Complexity. It was a real slog right to the bitter end. Relyks was also another player that stood out, played pretty decently. Didn't have as much impact on Dust 2, but of course they're not going to have to worry about that today because they're not playing it. But after this, I believe it's Cloud9 and Complexity, right? So we have another 2 best of ones of NACS coming up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Cloud9 Complexity.
Yeah, Cloud9 Complexity.
And that's going to be Cobblestone and Train. But we are just waiting to jump into the server. Apparently TSM were taking their sweet time about getting in. So you have them to blame. Feel free to tweet at them.
It was NRG.
Was it NRG?
Yes.
Oh, I feel bad now. Don't tweet TSM. Tweet NRG.
Or tweet me at BotLaunders. Or okay, never mind. TSM player has gone AF.
Yeah, so tweet at TSM. Rage all you want at them.
Is that my coconut water? You have to get in the shot now. That's wonderful.
Right, so in terms of predictions, we didn't quite go over these on the desk. Where are you coming down on this? Obviously, the same map twice is always super weird to call because it's not something you see very often. Do you have a favorite for this game?
I have to say, I think I want to say that, honestly, it just like, it was a couple of matches and you'd think, oh, there's a certain amount of practice that goes into the map and then they come into the matches. But I feel like the matches they played yesterday were at a lot of practice and a lot of tape to review to come into a match today. So I think that TSM maybe could do well. But at the same time, NRG have Gob-B, who is who's quite strict, and also I think that style helps on these maps that are much harder. So yeah, to some extent, I think you're not going to see this screaminess coming out of NRG, which I think will be refreshing in some sense. Because yesterday, it was like default. The only T rounds that came were off of sick individual performances. Android getting 2 kills at ramp, which we saw, which was one of literally 2 rounds that they won on T side. So I don't think that we'll see too many defaults, like people getting picked apart in defaults and then simply losing the round because of it. I think we'll see more of some more execute heavy stuff, which I don't prefer in general, but I like on a map like Nuke, which is quite hard to get map control on T side.
Yeah, and the thing is that TSM really struggled on yesterday, and I'm curious if NRG watched those demos. I assume that they would have had half an eye on them. But we saw consistently that outside control was very lackluster. Like they pretty much gave up mid outside control on Silo. They didn't really have anyone playing in Garage. They didn't really have anyone like watching outside from Secret. And so there was really Def who was the man to do that on Complexity. You know, TSM gave it up for free. So I think that NRG they could have a lot of potential success out there. Of course, though, TSM could very well go back in and look at those demos and be like, boys, we have to plug up outside because that was atrocious. But apparently, we are going to be watching the knife round, which is one of the first time. So.
A rare treat, an ECS first. We get to see the knife round. Now, this always happens in this veto system, but we don't actually air the knife round because all that matters is that who wins it. And typically, there isn't much to watch. Typically,
knife goes in face, player dies. There's not much to commentate here.
Bring back knife headshots.
You were saying interesting...
Zeus rounds.
Yeah, we were having an interesting conversation earlier that you think there should be Zeus rounds?
Absolutely. I think there should 100% be Zeus rounds.
Okay. Make a case for it. Go on, Wodarz, go on.
If you have a Zeus, you can go ahead. It's more fun to watch. It's hilarious to watch someone get Zeused. You get that birthday, like, wazoo noise or whatever it is. And and the kill is instant, which is nice. So the rounds will end faster if they're Zeus rounds, and then you get to have a knife afterwards if you miss your Zeus. So then it just falls into a knife round if someone whiffs their Zeus, which would be hilarious, clipped, and end up on the top of Reddit every time it happened. No, absolutely no reason not to give players who have knives Zeus, Ziz on a knife round.
Well, the knife round has came and gone, and NRG electing the CT side, and FNS is going to challenge for the first kill. SEMPHIS, your overlord. I suppose he was yesterday. He was quite the dictator. And it's all gone the way of TSM. I'm always curious to see these dual Berettas in play. I'm still not sold on them. And Godby gets his head completely ripped off his shoulders, leaving the aforementioned dual Berettas on LEGIJA, a player that's not necessarily universally loved on NRG. I know you have your concerns with him as well as a player.
Who?
LEGIJA.
LEGIJA, I mean, as a lurker, I think sometimes makes... Sometimes, well, I guess it depends on what role he is playing, but I think when I've seen him lurking can make sometimes decisions that might seem careless. And I mean, that's the long and short of it. Sometimes I feel like the decisions don't make things work well, but there is some things about NRG that are quite unique in contrast to other teams in North America, and again on a map like this, I much prefer a little bit more strictness as opposed to looseness.
Nuke is the kind of map though on the T side, if you can get down secret, you really can make a serious nuisance of yourself. So I'm curious if LEGIJA is going to be one of those players that goes down there. When of course the roles are reversed. For the time being, he's going to be stuck on the CT side. FugLy going to be in ramp. LEGIJA is going to spot the head of SEMPHIS, and this grenade could finish off what he started with the P250, and indeed it will. Lands in the pocket of one of the talismen. Twistzz, in the meanwhile, does come back onto tabseN, and you're expecting from this point it to be a shutout round. tabseN, one of those players that for quite a long time, like obviously we used to cast together quite a bit. Penta, back when tabseN was on them, and he was like by far the shining beacon.
Yeah, definitely. For me, tabseN is the rock of this team. I think I have a lot of love for Peter personally. I think he's just like he's shown that he has so much, like constantly so much potential. Has had so many outstanding performances in very rough matches where he was considered the underdog, and I think that's kind of where he shines. But overall, tabseN in terms of consistency, reliability, is just getting all the check boxes marked.
And he's an absolute monster when it comes to pistols as well. Even in force buys, the guy can do serious damage, but not this time. NRG 3-on-2, bomb gets planted, and the positions that are being assumed makes this a very difficult prospect for PTR or Peter, as he comes down with his sidearm down into the vents. I mean, really, what's the best case scenario here? Like a pistol away maybe from the terrorists?
Yeah, there isn't much. You like at the very best, you choose a choke point that they all decide to exit on, because if you're smart, you exit the same way, whichever way that may be. And it seems like it's always a gamble, but Peter has moved outside, and I'm not sure. He's not just going to try to save a P250. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. But hopefully we'll try to safely catch an opponent if there is one to find. And I don't think there is. 3 terrorists safely escape after a bomb plant. A very lucrative round. And NRG, after investing some money, and Peter saving obviously for that op, are left in what's for the most part a full save. Godby picking up a CZ.
So in this full save, I'd like to pick your brains a little bit, Launders. There's a lot of, obviously, discussions back and forth about who the top sort of 5 are in EU and NA. I'm going to throw a little bit of curveball at you. Where do you think NRG realistically should fare in NA? You know, if you take into consideration that a lot of people would consider Cloud9 by far and away the top, then Optic probably second.
I think Optic 7. That's like my personal, like based on potential, I guess. So yeah.
So where do you think NRG should be coming in with the players they have? Because they've got quite a lot of experience and obviously some serious skill on their roster.
Yeah, they have some skill. I think I don't think I regard them as like having the proper lineup for whatever reason. I don't think I'm like I'm the messiah who could tell them what to change to make it all better. But in terms of where they're at right now, just seeing them sometimes lose to teams that they shouldn't lose to, and maybe pull off a couple of upsets Like they did have a couple of maps where they played extremely well. Like they had, I think, NIP on match point for like was it on Cash, I believe, 14-7, something like that at EEPL, and then ended up losing like just 16-14 straight up. And so those losses are kind of will have me distraught in the sense I will be like, okay, well, you know, what can you really do if you can't even overcome an opponent that you have against the ropes? But in terms of their placing, I don't even regard any team in North America, pretty much anything. I just don't have any regard for them apart from Optic and Cloud9, who proved, because if you can't do it with international results, then what's even the value in talking about it? Because almost every tournament you play is going to have like serious EU competition.
That's fair.
Yeah, so I don't even have them on a list. I'm sure Moses had a very good list at one point with a lot of the North American teams, which I found like a very just difficult to do because it's just so many teams and so many different spotty results and so many roster changes to keep up with. But I would expect that like TSM are a team where I feel like they could play a lot better than they have shown that they can play better than. Here's a full execute right now. LEGIJA going down 1-for-1 on the upper site, but Gabi helping out as well. tabseN being very mindful of Mini, and that just leaves FNS all alone versus Gabi to get shot in the back, and the execute falls flat on his face. I'm not even sure where if there was Molotovs and where they landed, but that is yep, that's where we were. We were there.
TSM 3-1 in the lead after NRG pull that one back. They only lost one player. I think it was only LEGIJA that died. So he'll be dipping into his back pocket and replenishing the weapon. But TSM, up until that point, were looking pretty solid. It should be mentioned, though, they got the pistol in subsequent rounds, so it's not a great deal to rattle back with. The first rifle round has gone the way of NRG, and as you highlighted yesterday, that's a lot more valuable, really, than anything beforehand. That first rifle round is very, very important.
Yeah, it's extremely telling, and a rifle round should always be weighted more than other rounds, and your map score will never reflect how many rifle rounds you won. You win a game 16-10, but if it was with both pistols and you won a 3-for-1 round, but it was one of the only rifle rounds you won, then that result is skewed, in my opinion. So, oh, Peter definitely just spotted the head of Relyks in the bottom corner of his scope, but wasn't able to capitalize. And LEGIJA pushing into Hut here. Oh, he's going to make the full push come out. The flash isn't great, and falls off.
Definitely the correct decision after realizing there was no free frag to be taken. Don't want to give your life away.
I definitely don't like, okay, here's going to be a Hut molly. There's not going to be anyone on Hut, though, and I think this was their problem in the previous round where they threw this molly, they went outside, I mean, but Hut wasn't their issue. Not that we have anything different in terms of spots being played from NRG, except for maybe LEGIJA pretty aggressive in Hut.
30 seconds left. Like he's going to go out and gets killed. Yeah. Maybe off the raw timing, and that's going to leave a lot to be desired for the CT. Twistzz goes in for a frag. On towards Peter. FugLy, Gabi, and tabseN are going to have to come huge for the CTs. 50 seconds left, and the bomb still hasn't been picked up. Where is the bomb right now? It's in lobby still.
Yeah, that might be a bit of an issue. There's 7 seconds left, and it finally gets planted, and luckily the site isn't being disrupted too much. 2 players left, Gabi pushing in and looking for the spray down. Gets one, Sick now in a 1v1 versus FugLy. Extremely low on health, and Sick can take a great after plant position. Is actually moving up into the site and is so aware of heaven. FugLy gets called out. Not sure what the information was, but I think maybe somebody told him because it seemed like he was looking elsewhere and then was so convinced that it was going to be somebody in the sky. That was FugLy to get killed. And yeah. You know, like LEGIJA pushing Hut there, it's like sometimes it depends on if a full execute comes out and there's full flashes and nades, it actually makes sense to play. One thing I learned from Nothing about Mirage was on A site. If a team is full executing on you and they're getting away with it, you should always have your extra man play close to a ramp to get in the face of the push, because some people will be throwing nades as they come out, the late nades, right? And so I can see the thought process, I suppose. But that decision obviously not paying off, and then looking overly aggressive, and you wonder what the round looks like if LEGIJA tries to play it standard. But we don't live in that world, so we'll never know.
A very interesting statistic is if you cast your mind back to yesterday, Launders, TSM alongside Complexity can only get 2 rounds on their T side. They've already got 4. It was very dominant on the CT side, so you have to feel like the CT side is going to be fairly decent today. Any rounds from here on out are a massive bonus to the terrorists. Already 4 is decent. And the first kill has gone away with the CTs. Make that the second as well. LEGIJA on the P250. In Hut is going to get found out from Relyks. Time wasn't looking too good there. FugLy's going to get one with the M4, but he falls down afterwards. And a buy from NRG seems to be yielding some kills, but not much else. It's going to be a very duff? Well, it could very potentially be a duff, but a tough retake for Peter on the Heaven approach. In fact, he may just try and save.
Got beer on the mind.
I do.
Duffman right here. Casting with Duffman.
Simpsons. I guess I have a lot of similarities to Homer Simpson. Losing my hair.
Losing your hair.
Got a few ties around the belly.
The Michelin Man.
Not the most intelligent of people.
Oh, come on.
List goes on. Pete's actually going for this.
Oh my gosh, and not only is he going for it, he has a good chance. Relyks is kind of in a tight spot. I don't know if he's going to be fully aware. Yes, had the feeling that maybe he was on, and look at that bomb. Looked like it was grinding the rail there. All the Tony Hawk's reference. And
already made a couple today. It was a sick game in fairness to you. But that's the second consecutive round that it's been TSM winning, but by only surviving with 1 player left. So they have been very close rounds for NRG.
It's a good point. Now, the thing is, they've gone ahead and MAC-10'd up. Always funny how the MAC-10 is literally a smaller icon than the Tech-9. And here will be most likely leading the charge. Into ramp, and not only do they want to clean up with the MAC-10s, they want to get as many kills as possible with these guns.
P250 is good for 1 kill. There's going to be no rush P250 4K. I think that was a one-time deal.
That doesn't happen. Yeah, that doesn't happen twice.
Certainly doesn't. They still have a P250, but it's unlike you, and he's already quite low.
I actually like the stack from NRG. I mean, I would have expected them from going ramp to just have run lower. Honestly, like, going up the ladder into Heaven can kind of seem scarier than just running down the ramp. But decided to avoid it, so have to side with the stack, even though it didn't work, even though I knew it wasn't going to work. But it honestly logically made sense. But then I guess credit to TSM for going 2 levels deep.
They certainly have gone deep so far in NRG. MAC-10. It's not really even worth saving this weapon, to be honest. You know that TSM are going to have full armor. I guess it gives them something to work with next round, but...
Yeah, does it even want this? I'm not sure. It depends how much... I mean, if they were... Yeah, I guess it just depends how much money they have.
Yeah, so saving the MAC-10, does he even keep this?
Yeah, I mean, it's like versus terrorists, so who are going to hit armor up, but it looks like... he's going to hang on to the MAC-10, and I guess the only nice thing is that he saves on resources, so nades. So he gets a full nade set, which he wouldn't be able to get with an M4, and is also the only man to have a kit. So best case scenario, I'd see this like a MAC-10, where if your teammate dies, or sorry, a Tech-9, oh, the head of an opponent spotted. TSM, SEMPHIS looking for the spray, and Peter, oh, dirty peek Pete. Just going for the constant pre-fire ends up paying off. Sick. Can only have that angle to try to attack him.
Those 2 kills could be so fundamentally important to NRG. Already those 6 rounds on the T-half. I mean, back in the day, 6 rounds on old Nuke would have been quite the T-half.
Death, yeah. That's an F10. That's an F10 enter. Yeah.
And it's still a pretty solid half, considering how a lot of these games have gone, how TSM played yesterday on their CT side. So NRG going to have to be pretty flawless from here on out, you've got to feel. Otherwise, this could be already too far. And Ask Peter gets executed point-blank range. They still have that MAC-10 in the hands of LEGIJA.
I think a lot of their round was contingent on just killing Peter in that situation, knowing where he was. Good spray from Twistzz. Headshot onto FugLy and Hell, who was looking to trade, but it's actually got B, who was going to be able to do that with a nice Icarus fell. And with the spray control, gets a second kill. LEGIJA also joins in the fun. Don't know how he managed to get the MAC-10 kill, but puts it on the board. 2 rounds now for TSM and 2 players alive. We're looking at the spray here. I'm actually more curious just about the economy at this moment, but yeah. Good kill from Peter. Almost no reason not to abuse lag compensation in that. I mean, Peter has always had really insane peaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, just good awareness about like when he can abuse something. Like, okay, this guy has this tight angle that he's probably going to peek just like I am. I might as well be pre-firing in this situation. Now here it looks like someone is going to take a peek off of ramp. Oh, The tag comes out. I'm not even sure if he knows that that a player here was tagged. The smoke is going to be nothing short of alarming. Peter's going to fall off into lower, and is anyone else going to be able to pick off, or sorry, excuse me, pick up the responsibility of ramp?
Seems not.
No one has actually rotated to turnpike, which is a fair bit worrying, I think, for NRG. I mean, if they don't go lower, I guess. Nope. No, we have somebody. That's tabseN. Looks like he's outside, just making sure no one goes turnpike, or no one goes hell.
Oh, Peter.
Oh boy.
He could be putting himself in a really bad spot. If he misses this shot, he's going to be a dead man. Or not, actually. He catches them as they have focus elsewhere. Had they still been looking down as they were originally, I think Peter would have been killed almost certainly, and then would have seen some kind of a ramp push. Like he is down to the max 7, so very passive positions assumed by NRG.
Yeah, interesting. I think they realized the severity of winning this round, if they lose this round. And LEGIJA up close with that swag 7. This is not something they want to push through too easily, but the small talk will give his position away. I think he realizes he's always in danger, and Twistzz actually just pushes through the smoke early. FugLy is going to go ahead and spot an opponent. Takes a little bit too long, or not too long, but a little bit long to shoot. And that's it. They clean it up. Well played, interestingly enough. Comes down to 10 seconds. Begs the question, did TSM take a little bit too long to decide where they wanted to go? Why was, for example, FugLy able to push all the way through from hut into ramp room if they are just holding pushes, right? If they are not deciding where to go, why should he be able to get that far? And that's it. I made it seem like there was a third point, but that's literally 2 points.
Classic Wonders. No, it was almost death by indecision, because you saw them take ramp. They were looking to actually push down there. Peter went for a peek, and they started to pull themselves back, but Relyks is going to get the first one tap. The only deagle in play on the entire server is going to yield at least 1 kill. Peter needs to be careful. And Relyks AK-47 is going to go to use in FugLy's hands. Free haircuts all day long for the terrorists. TSM will concede the round, but they only came into it really with a deagle, so you can't hold that against them. It's going to be another rifle round here, though. Haircuts
are honestly a huge expense. People are spending...
One of the perks of going bald, mate. I can just shave my hair. Get wrecked.
That's very funny. That's funny. I'm glad I'm not losing my hair. I would look awful bald.
I don't know. I think you could see it. You'd have that badass look going for you.
I don't think so. It all works the way it is, but in a different way, or if it were a different way, it wouldn't work. I guarantee. Anyways, Twistzz has taken quite a bit of damage. Outside control. It looks like the TSM are poised to take it. Smokes are coming out. Somebody is hopping up on Twinkie, and they are pushing outside. tabseN maybe in for a field day right now. First headshot comes out. Another one. Does he find it? No. Good flash, though, from a supporting teammate. Don't know who it was from, but there it is. 3 headshots. And instead of reloading, why not pick up a gun that already has ammo? Will he find this fight? He doesn't find it. SEMPHIS bests him finally.
But that's the power of tabseN that we were touching on earlier. He has that ability to just shift into a different gear and lock down a position. The outside was his. He put that flag down. He's only on 6 kills, so it goes to show that he has been having a bit of a rough round. He got 3, so half his kills in that last round.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the kind of capabilities that this man possesses. Very nice work.
Very clean stuff. And whoever threw those flashes was low-key the MVP. Even FNS there, half blind in that situation.
Yeah, hit 3 players, on outside. So they couldn't really retort onto tabseN's aggression. Half-bite coming in for TSM. Kevlar's with an assortment of P250s, Deagles, and Tech-9s. So I'm curious if that could keep him at bay, because typically if you're going to want to go for a fast A play, you'd probably go for full Tech-9s, just charge in. Full-on beast mode. But having 2 Deagles suggests a more passive play. God B's going to go down, though, from the Deagle, as will LEGIJA. So the delayed push working so far for TSM. Peter and tabseN have other ideas. Twistzz is going to go into tabseN with the AK-47, 2-on-2. Lots of time to play with, but the CT is now starting to get more of a grasp over round 12. Bomb dropped in a horrible place for Relyks, who's going to have to try and play the time.
Who is going to make what move? So... Oh, after a nade being thrown, FugLy switches back just in time for NRG to even up at 6-6 with a ton of money left over. So the score discrepancy doesn't actually tell the story about the economy. 2 players on NRG, FugLy and LEGIJA, have 10K. That is a ton of money to fall back on, even if TSM are able to win a round. So in danger of the reset after losing 5 rounds in a row. quite a precarious spot. 3 rounds remain in the half, including this one. Everybody's going to have a full buy up here, and so this could be a pivotal moment for NRG if they're able to win this. TSM will likely save. It could be a 2-for-1, but they are not in danger of that themselves. And I'm not sure how much FugLy can see here, but it looks like a little bit of damage has been dealt. Either way, he has a ton of information at ramp. Very pushed up very aggressively, and his teammates know.
Kory will strike first in the 13th round of potentially 60 on Nuke. As we have it back-to-back, Kory will get another one, but the terrorists now seeming to come out with some frags. FugLy has spotted SEMPHIS, who's landed a couple of shots, but FugLy, the bullet between the eye, will give NRG the lead once more. And I'd say the caliber of play so far on Nuke is definitely superior to what we saw yesterday. It's been back and forth, a lot more executes, a lot more strategic plays.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more sit back and figure out what we can do together for TSM, which is nice. But FugLy winning that 1v1, I mean, that was a... Oh, it's actually TSM to buy, and, you know, they do oftentimes will buy, even if they can't get the absolute best buy out of it. But in this situation, don't have much to... And there aren't really many... I mean, it's only Sick who doesn't have any nades. That's it. Other than that, solid buy overall, so... Even without the plant, we're able to supplement it. Now here's some smokes coming outside. tabseN is actually in a kind of a new spot. I don't think that anyone's played here, at least in this half, so might be able to get the first bullet off on somebody. There's some damage dealt. Another headshot. Very nice from him. SEMPHIS trades it, but it's 2-for-1.
I have simply not seen enough Nuke. Was he on top of the garage?
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
That's the first time I've seen that position in competitive play.
Definitely seems odd, just because like once you're there, you can't escape, but it's a really good position to get people off guard, and it seemed like they couldn't find him even after he got the first kill, so probably a really solid position for an M4A1, and LEGIJA not aware of the fact that outside had kind of been circumvented, that it was not safe, that his position was not safe, but at the same time maybe was worried about HUT, as your job inner becomes that much harder once outside is taken. I mean, you have to split your attention. You cannot just be obsessed with watching your flank.
That's certainly true. Peter, in 1 on 3. 2 players are low. Actually, all 3 of them are fairly low. FNS around half of his health remaining. But downside for Peter, he's going to have to make a move through Squeaky or potentially HUT. And I think he's decided to just pull back. He's not going to go for the retake. But the cool thing about that tabseN position, though, is as he was hiding behind... I'm not even sure what the hell you'd call it, like the little chimney thing. Mm-hmm. What would you even call that?
Toadstool?
Toadstool. Right, we'll go with that then. Hiding behind the toadstool. The only position he could have been spotted from was Silo, because down below he was hiding behind it perfectly, so they couldn't have got the return angle on him. So if the player hadn't been on Silo, he could have even had more frags and just been able to be like a real pain in the ass up there. Yeah,
it's true. I'm not even sure they would. I mean, SEMPHIS was clearly, I guess once he peeked out wide, he had that information, but here it is. Really difficult angle. Obviously, we have Relyks just like, where do I trade this frag from? And then him dying as well. And then, yeah, SEMPHIS just peeking out wide. That was the kind of the only thing that could have compromised the location. So, cool spot.
Last round of the half. Both teams have a full buy. No warps between the two of them, but they haven't really shown propensity to go for the sniper rifle. No huge deal there, I'm sure. Plenty of utility being exchanged between the two teams. Relyks is going to be shooting out the top windows. Now, for the scrubs out there that are watching this, they're like, why are they shooting the ceiling windows, launders?
Yeah, so
craft for us, would you
obviously you know, but to be able to throw nades into the upper site, and also stir a reaction whether or not they want to use it. So always good measure when there's glass somewhere, and I don't know where Peter was able to get that kill. Looks like he pushed outside aggressively and is able to fall back, which is just beautiful. I mean, at this point, yeah, they're going to be looking to trade, but he's not going to be looking to give up this kill. And now it's 5v4 with options limited. But FNS, after searching, is able to find a nice spray. tabseN goes down. And Peter is also quite wounded. I mean, I think they might know this. So here's FugLy, though. Is it a tried and true angle? It looks like it is. Very nice stuff. 2 kills, but traded out by Twistzz, ultimately leaving NRG in a 3v2 situation. Quite favorable, but not quite over for TSM.
He did do quite a lot of damage to Twistzz as well, down to 50. So FugLy with 2 frags and effectively 2.5 frags. He will get the assist for this kill if it goes down, I'm fairly sure. 23 seconds left. Twistzz is going to go for the plant in the smoke. It's only half the struggle. There's no big deal for him getting the plant because, of course, there will be no more rounds on this half. Now it's about the clutch. Peter's going to be first out. Somehow manages to keep his 30 health intact, but I like that. Going for the double peek.
Definitely, yes.
Solid play. NRG will take the lead at halftime, and indeed FugLy did get the assist.
One of the best fights if Twistzz wants to take it, to be able to trade him out immediately, so always good to go 2 for 1 if possible, especially when you have 3 players. Can't lose that way. Isolating your opponents is your goal in the 1vx, but missing an opportunity like that, for example, that first peek, and here's FugLy on a very good angle. I recommend everybody use this angle. He's clearly got the crosshair placement lined up to perfection to the point that you aren't moving. But as you mentioned earlier about shooting the glass out.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, so like so whenever there's glass, either it be on train in white and brown halls. Or on Nuke on the upstairs, as you can see, those are the windows over the A site. And if you shoot them out, you're able to throw nades into them. And if you shoot them out only when you're going to execute, then it's too much of a tell. But oh, this pistol round has already gone underway. Gob B has gotten his face taken off. FNS has found contact, but also moved. And Sick is joining in the action, but traded out by tabseN.
These Glocks are doing work, but tabseN is going to be put down in his place by SEMPHIS. FugLy out on his own, really. I mean, there's 4 players left, and he's just starting to make a move through Squeaky. As soon as he opens this door, his position is going to be alerted to. Relyks, he's going to go down. That's a beautiful one-tap. Look for a second. He's landed, and he's still got 55 health left. This could be a bomb plant, which all things considered in a 1v4 is a really solid job. And now he's on position to maybe clutch this. This would be pretty nuts if FugLy can pull it off. He is looking for the taps, but SEMPHIS is too solid, and that is going to be the round to TSM. 8-8. And so with shooting out the windows, the reason for that is so it doesn't ruin the trajectory of the grenades, right?
Yeah, so you can actually just line your grenades up and throw them into the site, whether it be a hot molly, which goes through, which bounces off of one of the window panes, or throwing a mini smoke, or so on and so forth. Lots of things you can do. You can throw a smoke into heaven. And here's FugLy in the 1-on-2. Not actually winning, but coming quite close, and it seemed like he was just on point in that situation. Like a little bit of faith, I think, between the 2 of us that he maybe wins that. Wow, what a buy. The plant has caused him to do a 1 AK buy. I actually quite like this. Nades and an AK, and it's actually 4 SMGs in the hands of TSM, which should be good enough to deal with the Tech 9s, but I don't think that really is a huge advantage in this situation, depending on what NRG get going for them. Gob B also very hurt, however, and just going down immediately gives Relyks the information that's not going to be heavy lower play, which is the kind of guys that they were trying to lay down. Like pushing into lower, killing FNS, being quite aggressive, and ends up working out quite well. This plant also might help out, but what happens here? 3 players on each team, but 2 players very hurt from NRG.
Yeah, bomb planted for Toxic too. Just FugLy in there. He's got 100% of his health left. tabseN still with his AK-47. FugLy has now been dropped down to 19. Very likely to die. If he can take a play with him, that would be golden for NRG, but it's not going to happen. And now Peter with his 1 health. The 1 health dream is real. It becomes a nightmare. Relyks with the AK puts him down. And one of the cool things about that AK and CZ/Tech9 buy is typically, like, CT sides will pick up 4 SMGs to get their farming in effect. It's very effective against pistol buys without armor. You can shred them down. If you have that AK in the armor, the SMGs then become a little bit less effective, and you can actually take them away. The expendable weaponry is no longer a good enough reason to use the SMG. So I did like the buy. They get a bomb plant out of it, so it could have gone a lot worse for NRG, though.
Yeah, it's definitely unconventional, but that's why it's good, because it's especially for this situation. Some teams will overbuy rifles, and in that situation, they're prepared for the one time that a team actually buys after 1 plant on the first round. Typically, people go straight for AKs, so NRG thought they could catch them off guard, but TSM were just happy to have SMGs, and I mean, actually, that should have been pretty good for them, but they're still at a disadvantage, and they ended up losing. Quite close, though, and they actually had 5 smokes on this round. I'm not sure how they all got used. Peter still has 1 for himself.
Yep, that's 2 of them outside. We're trying to block off red container to secret. Peter had 1, but he died with it in his hands. Real romance story there between the 2 of them. NRG did go for some upgraded pistols, actually. They had a few Kevlars into that round, I believe. So as a result, the bomb plants back-to-back, they're able to get full AKs. LEGIJA Yeah, he's going to be able to pick one up as well. I was curious there if maybe they thought about going for a glass cannon ult, but it wouldn't really make a great deal of sense. I actually prefer the AK and the full nade instead.
I think so too, yeah. Not necessary, definitely on the T side. Here's some flashes outside. Relyks knows that he's about to have some competition coming his way. I'm not sure if Gobby and tabseN plan to do anything from here. Gobby's actually pushed through the smoke. tabseN comes up with the instant trade. Seems much more aware of the fact that someone might be on the left there, and Twistzz. Will he have an opponent to deal with? LEGIJA, though, getting the better of him. Really nice trade from his hands, and Sick actually goes down without getting a kill himself. Oh my gosh, after spotting the corner of the smoke, SEMPHIS is able to come out the better. Oh my gosh, I didn't actually think he'd win that.
Definitely not. I thought he was dead to rights. FNS has managed to pick up an AK for himself, and with the bomb getting planted, he's going to have to wait for this smoke to clear, as there are multiple angles to watch out for. So this gives him a little bit more of an idea as to what he's coming up against. FugLy exceptionally low, Peter certainly not. Decent positions taken. There is maybe a path for FNS to get round the back of FugLy, which is exactly what's about to happen now. He's correctly called the last player. May very well be on Hut, and he's going to stick on this one. Is Peter going to come in? He's actually going to stick on the side, but it's going to be about half a second left. And Peter will stop the defuse to give NRG a 9th round. TSM can rebuy, but too close for comfort again.
Yeah, that was quite close. I mean, the thing was that I'm not sure how I feel about that, actually. Like, sometimes I think the stick is good, but here you see FNS cognizant of the fact that it might be Hut. But not only that, FugLy had completely given up the potential for him to be in heaven by looking up there. So not only did he know that it might be Hut, but that it definitely wasn't heaven, and the bomb was planted back silo. Meaning, the only way on Earth that he would be able to stop the bomb is if he were to come out of Hut. And he had enough time to fake the fuse twice. I think that fight was in his favor based on what the information that he had. If he decided to, and in the heat of the moment, different options yield different results. But to reach his own.
FNS up on the boost is a position that both teams have used now. So, I mean, typically a terrorist side pushing through is going to check that. It's a solid position, and there's not a huge amount of angles to watch from Ramp's perspective when you come through from the T side. You've got the bottom boxes, to the left-hand side. You've got the connector.
Oh, wow.
Kory just destroying Relyks. No chance to retort back onto that whatsoever. And now NRG have the player advantage. They managed to trade out the UMP for an AK. Or an M4, pardon me, on Kory. And they've got some decent control as well, all around the map. So FugLy could very well move his way up into heaven. Alongside Kory, actually flashes in from him so they can take control over it. You can see the passive plays from TSM. This is kind of a one-and-done situation for SEMPHIS. He's very much hoping on Twistzz to help him out.
Yeah, this is a spot that you wouldn't want to play when you know that they could potentially come heaven, and the flash comes out. Really good flash. Ooh, and not only does... Oh, SEMPHIS actually goes 1 for 1, which I'm honestly even surprised about. It's just like a really tough spot to be in. It's nice versus Mini. Here is one player jumping into him in heaven, and FugLy getting the instant trade. Good damage dealt by LEGIJA, and that's it. Now 10 to 10, TSM are on the back foot on the save. And NRG had kind of gave up quite a few rounds in the first half, but have always been a team, and I think this is actually a problem with them, have always been a team better on the T side than the CT side. I think as Kory as an IGL just thinks about the harder side of the game and how much more work is required to get rounds on it, which you can respect. And putting a lot of effort into it, but then sometimes just not getting the proper amount of CT rounds.
I feel like that was very much the case when Kory was on Mousebots as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like that was the same thing with Existence, who's another very strict IGL. Had very notable halves on T side, and then would just blow it on CT quite often.
So you'd assume, therefore, in this position, with NRG likely taking this round, even though they have taken the first casualty of War and Peter, that the best is yet to come. Like, maybe they can keep this pressure applied and take this map outright at 10 to 10 with a slight advantage in this round. There are still upgraded pistols, 2 CZs and 2 P250s. Know what these guns are capable of. FNS should get the drop onto LEGIJA, but he checks the position with the UMP, and without Kevlar, you're very susceptible to getting sprayed down. LEGIJA point-blank range isn't required, because tabseN around the back is going to make short work of SEMPHIS, leaving Twistzz. And it's P250. Nearly does get the kill on tabseN, which would have been pretty impressive, but instead NRG, as expected, will take the 11-10 lead.
Do they have enough money for a suitable buy? It looks like they're going to be buying up a couple players lacking head armor. Not the worst case scenario. Like, yeah, the only danger to them, in terms of embarrassment, I suppose, to be able to one shot to the head and kill them. And he's hanging on to that UMP. And what is the play here? A couple players at ramp, and oh wow. You gotta assume that FNS has the opportunity to get that kill, but isn't able to do it. LEGIJA also trying to find a new route of attack on Sick, but cannot best him, and he gets 2 kills. This flash already, as well, is not meant for him to reaggress. Instead, was to help him fall back, which is a great play by Sick to get away, not give NRG the opportunity to make it a 3v3.
Yeah, I love that play. Cut your losses. You've got 2 kills, but you've lost 2/3 of your health nearly. Why stick around? Why give them the opportunity to equalize the manpower? And in doing so, and coming back to control, they then have to be even more careful in the approach to B. I love how Sick is playing this round. He's in constantly different positions.
Oh my god.
4K for Sick. I want him to get the ace. Honestly, at this point, he's played this round so damn well.
Oh no.
It looks like he's not going to get it though, but still MVP and then some for Sick in that round. Peter is going to pick 1 kill up. That Molotov will stop him from getting aggressed on, so it will allow him to get the bomb planted. But he will get picked up on the retreat. Sick, take a bow. That was a Sick round.
Yeah, very good. I mean, the 2 kills at ramp, the flash just simply to fall off to a new position, catch another opponent off guard. He did so, and figured he'd done his job at ramp. Looked a little bit aggressive after that, and found a 4th kill. Very nice stuff. 11-11, make a wish.
I wish the next map wasn't Nuke.
That's true. And then the only interesting thing to come of that, and also, oh wow, what an entry from tabseN, making this look like the round was just about to fall apart in that regard. But Slick to pick up the slack. Actually, kind of a rough smoke. It won't have bloomed as deep as he'd liked it to, but it's not so bad.
Max 7 has been taken by FNS. Again, it's one of those kind of maps where this kind of situation can very well play into the wheelhouse of the Max 7. Got beat down to 28. Outside control, one of the first times we've really seen this for NRG. They've been playing aggro through the likes of ramp and lobby, but it's good to see them mixing it up. This could be into the arms of Relyks, however, who is sat pretty outside. A couple of players, as you just saw there on the scoreboard, hovering around 20 to 23 kills. But the scoreline is equal as the tally overall. Relyks and Sick with 3 kills again. Sick appears to be moving into a very comfortable place in his mind. He is getting all the kills going his way. He's up to 19 and 16 now. He had a bit of a difficult first half, but he's making amends now.
Yeah, with 7 kills. I mean, he's coming from, in 2 rounds, from 12 to 19, both on rifle rounds, and has put NRG onto a save, which adds value to each of those frags that he got in those 2 previous rounds. And no, I don't think it'll be quite clear to TSM that it's 100% going to be a save, but once they hear some of these pistol shots ring off, they'll be aware completely that they've got some easy opponents to farm.
Pistol 1 AK-47. Let's see if FugLy can do anything with it. Has the Kevlar to support. A lack of aim punch.
Koby has done this before, where he sneaks in a lower. Last time, he immediately was neutralized. This time, he's actually not going all the way down, interestingly enough. It's probably going to make it seem like he hasn't crossed yet. Try to bait somebody into pushing. Nice headshot from FNS. And again, flowchart falling down into ramp to a new angle. Interestingly enough, there's no way to, oh, wow. There's no way to be on that corner. And, I mean, unless you get pre-fired. Wow.
Oh, FNS.
That's a 4-3 moment right there.
Yeah, I was about to say. Betrayed by his resolution, but LEGIJA only on 1 health. It's unlikely he gets a great deal out of this round. And he's done a decent job on the economic damage front by taking down a player, well, 2 in this round, but from here on out, it's going to take some misplays from TSM or some godlike play from LEGIJA.
Rounds that you should not lose. This should make it 13-11. 30 seconds remain. It looks like, I guess, yeah, not a whole bunch of time to go through mini and clear everything out. So maybe Heaven is the motive. I'm not sure if there's a player up here, if they split sites or not. It's kind of hard to tell with the mini map. But it seems like Twistzz has decided to play hut. Bomb will go down. Twistzz is going to call that it's going to be upper, and is going to wait for SEMPHIS to make a move.
Surely not TSM. Surely you're not going to allow LEGIJA to clutch this round. He's just made a little bit of noise.
Yeah, Twistzz definitely heard that. It's almost certainly been silent for the moment. This is a really good spot to be in, though. I mean, this is what we call fur. It blocks you off of mini completely. The smoke will come out, and Twistzz actually taking a fair bit of damage. Wow. Oh my gosh. He doesn't actually... He doesn't have it.
Came off the timer as well?
I don't... No kit. And wow, that's it. They just took too late. Did Twistzz even have a kit? They took longer than they were able to take to retake in the first place.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
That's one of those kind of situations where...
No, Twistzz had a kit.
He did have a kit?
Yes. So immediately he has no time here, but he gets back on it. That's not a... this is
triggered. What did we even witness? I mean, it's a sick clutch by LEGIJA. Don't take anything away from him, but...
Yeah, he did a good job getting into heaven, delaying for that long. And oh my gosh, that looks like TSM is just not ready now. I like turning up the pace in this moment. And that's... What a crazy round to lose. What a crazy round to lose, because TSM should have almost certainly made it 13-11. Obviously, you're going with a 1 HP player. But they gave him a lot of space, and with that space, he was able to just get into a really favorable position. Mustang was a great spot to be in, for sure.
tabseN. If he goes peeking down there, he probably will end up dying, and that's exactly what happens. Relyks is watching the angle. I think he may have seen godB as well on the approach. He's throwing the smoke, just trying to keep the AWP alive. That smoke's actually kind of off. It's not going to cover the entirety on his way out. He's going to get tanked and fragged by godB. Oh, sick. Can he get any more? It's a decent double spray.
Wow, that bomb radius. Oh my gosh, he had full HP.
And even if he didn't get those kills, I think he was happy to hide there. He'd have died anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man,
that's the more you know moment right there. Bomb radius is quite huge for Nuke. Anywhere on top of the bomb from lower, you're dead, and then also a lot of areas outside even you could die if the bomb is lower. Yeah, but TSM lose that round. I like the change of tempo from NRG picking up the pace there. I think that would be a round NRG should be totally distraught about, probably like, oh, probably still arguing about what happened. Not necessarily, but you could think like as NRG, wow, maybe they're really salty about this. They could, you know, probably haven't even decided what they want to do this round, and then just like pick up the pace. So don't let them get comfortable.
Peter is down to 8. It's going to be a bit more stress for NRG on their approach. Twistzz, and meanwhile, is in hut. I think he's going to get spotted fairly soon, as tabseN is making a move through here. Just to his right-hand side resides Twistzz. Sick does get the kill into LEGIJA in the meanwhile with a deagle. And finally, Twistzz will go down, leaving FNS with the horrible task of trying to stave off the push with low HP and a USP in his hands. All too easy for NRG. 14-12, TSM on the brink of a loss.
But nothing short of a travesty here for TSM, who finished off the half, I guess. I mean, they started off the game really well, finished off the half 8-7 or 7-8, I should say, and then winning the pistol, and then being on CT, but then still losing. So a lot of good things to say, obviously, about NRG's T side, but I think actually a lot of these things came down. I mean, just in this later part of this half, came down to that clutch by LEGIJA that allowed just the money to change hands in a negative way. And wow, actually, he did spot him, but it was such a good angle that he only saw his arm, and like he was able to get the first shot off. 2 kills outside now, 5v3. Peter and LEGIJA taking a fair bit of damage, but it almost doesn't matter. I mean, second, maybe look for somebody here. Twistzz finds a kill without any trade somehow. Never acceptable when you have the advantage, but who knows how it went down. It looks like godB just went out on A. Not sure.
Twistzz wasn't too far off with the FAMAS spray. He's going to cost him his life, and that's on FNS. Has to provide some heroics. There's the first one. Could transition to the second player, but Peter peeking him at the same time as the bomb plant. I'm not entirely sure who that was. I think it may have been FugLy. He's on 27-17, by the way. Solid work by FugLy, and now NRG have 3 map points.
Yeah, now FugLy's not a player that you typically see having outstanding performances, but always has been one who has had like outstanding crosshair placement. Clearly, like he has sick movement, sick aim. Just for some reason, never really blossomed. I think fully as a player. But I guess always capable of it.
A lot of smokes being put down by either team, trying to cordon off certain areas. You can see one being placed in ramp, doesn't allow FNS to see anything, and this may end up hurting the CTs a lot more than Terrace because they're already scarce on nades. They need that information. It could force them into an aggressive play to try and yield some information for their team. But look at NRG, man. They've still got 4 mollies, they've got 4 smokes, they've got a bunch of flashes. Like, they're good to go here.
Everything they need, yeah, definitely. And they will. They know how to play time, for sure. They know how to play time when they need to. How to expel resources is the stuff they definitely spend a lot of time talking about. Good peek from Sick, gets a headshot off, but no more than that. FNS picks up the slack, getting a kill, and Relyks is also here to join at ramp. Does he get the kill? No, Gabi not going down. Critical moment in the round, I'm sure. Peter has lurked his way onto the A site. Very nice from him. And also actually is dropping vent, catches himself on the ladder. Both critical parts of that moment. I mean, now he is silently in vents, able to catch rotators. I don't think anyone would assume that he's made it in here. They probably want to wait this out as long as possible. With 30 seconds remaining, they might have to pick a site if nobody decides to go vent. And Twistzz is up here. Oh, Peter coming back up the vent and then killing Twistzz in hut. That,
What?
Why
you do this? Normally that means
I think somebody won.
They switched the server too fast, and I'm pretty sure that means that NRG won the map.
Congratulations.
Well, that's awkward.
Awkward. That was, I mean, Twistzz coming. I mean, Twistzz dying in HUD. It seemed like it was going in that direction. Unfortunately, I mean, I guess it seemed also as if TSM had the opportunity to maybe come back from that, but we won't get to see it. That's okay. We'll get to see Nuke one more time. Final score 16-12.
Yeah, we've just been notified.
Naturally.
To NRG. And from that position, you can see the Peter had already picked up a frag. He was looking down to main, and the second player was about to peek him. So from there on out, you assume he gets that kill, and it's a 3-on-1, easy, easy peasy. So first, Nuke will go to NRG. We do have another one coming up, though. So I'm curious to see if we'll see more of the same, if it'll be a case of different strats coming in. Not too sure, but we'll find out after this very short break, guys. Stay with us.